All right, guys, so we got polynomial vocabulary. There's three types of polynomials we deal with. So the first one we have is called a mononomial. And I'm going to space it out a little bit. So mononomial, we have a binomial. Just so you can kind of like see like the three keywords: mono, bi, and the last one is trinomial. All right, poly, it actually means many, but three that we break it down to is this. So a mononomial has one term, a binomial has two terms, and I'll explain this in a second, and a trinomial has three terms, okay? So an example of each one of these, let's put an example. So something like one term will be like 4x, binomial will be like 3x squared plus 8. And then over here for trinomial, we can put like x squared minus 4x plus 5. All right, so this is a term, it can be a number or a variable, and it's separated by a plus or a minus sign. So there's three of them. On this one, there's two of them. And then this is just one. All right, so those are my examples right there. All right, so basically when you say the word term, let's write down term right here. All right, term, all right, this is a number. All right, it could be like a number, a variable, an exponent, or a combination of all three. So a number, a variable, exponent, or a combination of all three. That's what a term is. Now the important thing about a term, this is the longest sentence we have right here. They are separated. All right, so we have a little, this is not a J, guys, it's like a comma, sorry. Separated by a addition or subtraction. All right, so that's what a term is. All right, let's draw a line under that, guys. Go ahead and draw a line. So now we know what a term is. We know what a mono, a binomial, and a trinomial is. All right, so a term, look for the addition or subtractions. Now everything we do today has to be in what we call standard form. All right, so standard form, I'm gonna write down the example first, and then we'll kind of like describe what it means. So this is gonna be like a long example, just so you can kind of see like it's obvious. The longer the example, the more obvious it is. So we have something like 5x to the 4th power minus 2x to the 3rd power plus x squared plus 6x minus 10. Okay? So here, if I were to separate these things, we have some terms. So this is a term, and then I have a minus sign. Term, plus sign, term, plus sign, term, all right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5 terms, right? But standard form means, look at the exponents, right? 4, 3, 2. Now over here, if you're missing it, you can put a 1 if you want. And some people like to see that, because look at the order. What's happening with the exponents? 4, 3, 2, 1, and then nothing. Standard form means, right, so basic definition, the exponents are in order from the biggest one going to the smallest. All right. Now I'm going to make another note on the side. So the exponents, forgot the E, are in order from the biggest to the smallest. 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't look at the big numbers. Those are something else, right? So over here on the side, guys, I want you to write down, what is the degree? All right. So it's going to say like, what is the degree? The degree is the biggest exponent. All right, the degree is the biggest exponent, okay? So in this problem, the biggest exponent we have here is the 4. So like, for example, the degree of this problem is 4. All right, let's draw a line. Just got like 4 more words for the vocabulary. All right. So next, we're going to do the 2 important words we need to know is quadratic versus a cubic. All right, quadratic versus a cubic, like that. All right. So there's only 2 things you have to know. All right. So the biggest, all right, exponent for a quadratic, the biggest exponent is the number 2. All right, that makes a quadratic. And I'll show you an example in a second. For a cubic, the biggest exponent, all right, is the number 3. All right, that's for cubic. So quadratic, most of the time, guys, an example. All right, for quadratic, it's gonna look like this. X squared plus 3x plus 8, right? So remember, guys, exponent is the small number. So we're looking at this one right here. Put a little arrow. That is the biggest exponent I have, so that's a quadratic. So in your little handout, it's gonna say, is this a quadratic or is this a cubic? So you need to look for the biggest exponent. All right, now there's 2 different types of examples for the cubic, right? So you have like 2x to the 3rd power plus 4x squared minus x plus 12, right? So you have this whole thing right here. And the biggest exponent we have is this one. So put a little arrow right here, that's a 3. So a lot of times they actually don't use this one, like 3, 2, 1, 0, like they actually don't do that. So put the word or, so they're gonna give you this example or something like this, x to the 3rd power plus 6. All right, sometimes they just do that. The important thing is the biggest exponent is gonna be that 3 right there. All right, let's go and draw a line. Let's separate this a little bit. All right, last 2 words for vocabulary. Ooh, I think they can fit right here actually. So I have a constant versus coefficient. All right, and you're gonna kind of tell the difference here. These are not hard, guys. So an example, all right, of a constant is like the number 10, or you can even do like a negative fraction. And a coefficient, the example of a coefficient, watch this, see if you can tell the difference. So look, what's the difference between this one and this one? If you notice, this one has an x on it. The negative 1/2, see, that's a constant, but when I put the y next to it, that makes it a coefficient. So the only difference between a constant and a coefficient is the constant has no variables. These are just numbers by themselves, fractions, numbers, positives, negatives. And this one has variables. All right. So pretty basic. All right. Adding polynomials. This won't be too long. Take up less than half a page. All right. So basically, guys, we are going to combine like terms. That's just a fancy way of saying add the same symbols. Oh, I messed that up. Add the same symbols. Sorry about that. So let's just do some examples here. 4x squared plus 3x plus 6, parentheses, plus 5x squared minus 2x plus 4. The important thing is we have a plus sign in the middle. All right, this is not the box method. This is just adding. So what we're going to do is look for the ones that have the same variables. So watch, 4x squared, 5x squared. So if I add these two together, what's 4 plus 5? That's going to be 9x squared. All right, this is where everyone messes up on this next one. Be careful with this one. Everyone look, this is a plus 3x. This is a minus 2x. So when you add them together, guys, you have to be very careful with that negative right here. This minus, when you plug it in the calculator, it's actually 3 plus negative 2. So this is a negative because we have this minus right here. So be very careful with that. That's going to come out to be positive 1. So I'm going to put plus because it's positive, and then 1x. And then right here, I have the 6. That one doesn't have a variable. The 4. So what is 6 plus 4? That's going to be a positive 10. So I hope you can kind of see the difference there. All right, so we can do something more complicated. So 4xy plus 3x squared minus 8 plus 6xy minus 4x squared plus 12. All right. So look for the same symbols right here. So notice how we got the 4xy, the 6xy. When I plug this in the calculator, these are both positive. 4 plus 6. Okay? That's going to be 10xy. Now look at the x squareds. Be very careful. That's a positive 3, so I'm going to put 3 plus, and then what is this right here? Is that a positive or a negative? Negative 4. So be very careful. When you plug that in the calculator, that's going to be negative 1. So put minus 1. Don't forget your x squared. We want to match the symbols. And then again, look at this. Look at the one. I like to underline the ones that don't have anything, the regular numbers. So this is a negative 8 plus then 12. That's going to be positive 4. So you put a plus sign for positive 4. All right. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. All right. There's going to be a handout for the vocabulary, guys. All those vocabulary is going to be a handout. And then for these, you have 2 of these on Schoology. I'll load them in a second, okay? But I'm going to give you the handout. For this handout, all right, let me go ahead and just help you out. You're actually missing these 2 questions. Let me write it down. All right, so let's go here. Oh, yeah, there you go. So for number 17, I don't know why I didn't print. All right, this is going to be 4x to the 3rd power plus 6x squared minus 2x plus 4. And then over here is going to be negative x to the 5th power plus 4x squared plus 5.